Today, we're looking at a few important shifts in fertilizer markets. The first Moroccan phosphate shipment since President Trump suspended duties has arrived in the U.S., but there's a catch with what's actually on the vessel. In urea, India appears to have secured a massive amount of supply fairly easily, putting the focus now on Brazil as the next big buyer. And in the U.S., grain prices are climbing, and if they keep moving higher, that could finally bring fertilizer buyers off the sidelines. I'm Johanna Botan, and joining us now to discuss all the latest developments is Josh Linville, VP of Fertilizer at StoneX. Josh, so nice to see you. I want to start with the most important question, and that is, did you miss me?
Yeah, these last 2 weeks have probably been the worst 2 weeks in my history. I have been in fertilizer for 4 weeks, and I've literally never had a 2-week period as bad as what these were. Welcome back.
Thank you very much. I missed you as well. All right, all jokes aside, let's start with phosphate. So the first Moroccan phosphate vessel since the duties were suspended has finally arrived in New Orleans, 54,000 metric tons. Why isn't this, can you explain, quite the win it might appear to be?
Yeah, it really boils down to the style of phosphate that's in that boat, and it was triple superphosphate. Now, there might be some listening to this video and saying, well, this is great. I use triple superphosphate. This is a fantastic thing. And trust me, please do not take what I say as trying to demean you or make it less important or anything like that. I could not be more happy for the farmers across U.S. and North America who use triple superphosphate. This is a great, great situation. But when you look at the bulk of North America, when you look at the bulk of the U.S., it's DAP, it's MAP, it's products like MESZ. Triple superphosphate is not a very popular product out there. In the past, it's had some quality issues. That's not to sit there and say that this product coming in now is going to be the same. We might find out this stuff is the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's very coarse on the machinery, so it likes to tear up the fins on the spreader machines and things like that. So it's not the popular product that most people use out there. It is great for the folks that use it. Again, I cannot reiterate this enough, but it's yet again one of those situations where it's kind of like, it's a good thing. You know, I did a video while you were gone. I tried to focus on the good things in the fertilizer market. All we ever do is talk about the bad things in the market. So I tried to focus on the good. The silver lining of this, triple superphosphate, it has P2O5 units. Those are P2O5 units coming to our nation that were not previously coming. That is a good thing to boost supplies.
Okay.
It would just be better if it was in the other forms, the DAP and MAP. Now, I will tell you, this vessel, a lot of people have been talking about it and saying, oh, it's here. The price is going to fall. Folks, the market knew this vessel was coming weeks ago.
Yeah.
This is not a surprise. This is already baked into the marketplace. And I'll tell you, actually, right now, we currently have eyes on 4 triple superphosphate vessels, and we believe a single MAP vessel. So as of right now, we've got 5 different vessels that are coming in. That's a very big deal. But if they're all 50,000 ton ships, that's still only 250,000 tons. That's still not a tremendous amount. And this window that Trump is allowing is only so large. And we don't know if he's going to extend it. The Moroccans don't know. So we're going to continue to watch this. It is a good thing. But unfortunately, we haven't seen prices move. Since the Trump announcement, prices are only up a little bit. These vessels are already known to come in. It's not moving that price needle, at least not yet.
Can you remind our viewers, Josh, when that window will close?
I cannot remember off the top of my head. I believe he had said, was it a 6-month period? I would have to go back and look at that and try to remember what the period was. It was either until the conclusion of the sunset review of that countervailing duty, or there was another set period that he put in place. It's not over a year. I know that it was measured in months, not years, unfortunately.
Understood. Okay, so that's the phosphate picture. Let's talk about our favorite fertilizer, urea, where we're seeing a very different supply story play out. So India appears to have secured 1.7 million tons of urea fairly easily, I would say. China is, I think, supplying as much as 1 million tons of prilled urea. I had to look exactly. Prilled urea is just pellets versus a more granular kind. I'm happy to announce that I now know that. Why is that bearish for the broader urea market?
Yeah, it's important to note we don't yet know the total awards number.
Okay.
Until we see the awards and the letter of intents and everything have gone out and everything is committed, we don't yet know complete story of this. There are still little caveats out there. There's still little pitfalls. They can have it. But by all accounts, it looks like they've hit the 1.7 million tons very, very easily. It doesn't look like it took them a whole lot of counter negotiations. It doesn't look like the market pushed back a whole lot. And it does appear that the Chinese are going to supply a large amount. We've actually got a gentleman that's now hired on with StoneX in Shanghai. And based on conversations, he thinks there's about 1 million tons that's going to participate from China alone. And so when you look at prilled versus urea, most of the, I'm going to say developed world, and what I mean by that is you're mixing it with things like DAP and MAP and potash and all these other granulated products. You want to use like products. You want to use other granular products because prilled, to your point, it's very small compared to the granular.
Yeah.
If you dump a bunch of prilled into other granular product, it's just going to sift to the bottom. It's not going to throw the same. It's an ununiform application process. So if you are a granular nation, the U.S. is a granular nation, we can't really use prilled. Well, India's not that way. India can use prilled. And China has a lot of those tons that they need to move. They are going to participate very, very heavily. And it looks like China's actually got some more of that prilled that they're going to try to find homes for. So that's the good thing. Because they were so easily able to get their hands on the product, get it secured, we think, that means the market's sitting there saying, wow, there's a lot out there. The prilled alone is 1 million tons that granular product might have thought it was going to get to go sell. It all of a sudden got pushed out by this prill. Now all of a sudden it's like, oh, wow, where do I go now? What's my next step? What's my next destination? We're watching Brazil very, very closely. We think they are the next major demand cycle. When you look at their imports, September through December is their big period. Now they can't use prilled for the most part.
Yeah.
They need granular products. So it's going to be interesting to see how this whole thing plays out. But the Brazilians are now sitting back saying, okay, this market's bearish. The longer we wait, the more bearishness is going to be in the marketplace. But at some point, somebody will pull the trigger and then we start rolling.
So then do you think Brazil is now the market that determines where global urea prices go next?
I think so. Barring some other major changes, the last several years, you always got to watch for the unknown. But assuming a normal marketplace the next several weeks, Brazil's my single biggest focus. What do they do? Or more importantly, what don't they do?
Right. So ultimately, though, right, what farmers are willing to pay for fertilizer comes back to what they're getting for their crops. And that brings us to grain prices because new crop corn is now around $4.89, I want to say, just 20 cents shy of its 52-week high. Now, there's usually a point, I would say, where stronger grain prices convince farmers to stop waiting and start buying fertilizer, right? Are we getting close to that point?
I don't know that we're getting close to it, but we're obviously getting closer. And yeah, farmers know every time in history when grain prices start to go up, they know fertilizer goes up with it. It's interesting. Grains go up, fertilizer goes up. Grains go down, fertilizer doesn't seem to come down nearly as quickly. They've lived this time and time again. So I think a lot of your farmers are sitting there watching this. And listen, I'm not going to sit there and say $4.89, $4.90 is a phenomenal price. When you look at the price of diesel, when you look at the price of land, chemical, seed, fertilizer, all the inputs, $4.90 still is a very, very low number, but it's improved markedly from where we just were several weeks ago. So I do believe the farmers are watching this. And one thing we were watching very closely, let's just say all of a sudden this morning, it jumps up, it gets another 10-cent rally and it starts with a 5 handle. Let's say all of a sudden it goes up enough that local elevators are showing a $5 corn. You can see a lot of farmers start stepping in, securing some of the sales for their grain, turning around and saying, okay, now I'm going to buy my fertilizer to plant next year's crop because the price is so good. So we believe right now with everything as it is, farmers will continue to sit by the sidelines. They'll continue to just sit and wait and see how things play out. But yeah, if that grain price keeps going up, that is one thing we're watching domestically that could drive demand sooner than what we thought it was going to come out.
Yeah.
And I hope that will be the case. I'd love nothing more than these farmers to get rewarded for their grain and have to go spend that money somewhere.
Josh, always a pleasure. Thank you so much, as always, for your insight. And thank you to our viewers for watching. For more financial content, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. See you next time.